Mm, something more. Oh man, yeah, this is getting me. I'm triggered. Hey, folks, forget to take a look at some of the changes that came to Empyrion 1.8.10. Now, these would have to do specifically with the creativity changes. Um, Things for the scenarios and all that stuff. That'd be a separate video if I do cover it. But one of the things that really intrigued me is what they did with the thruster plume changes, as well as the changes to the hollow deco and some of the changes they did to, well, one change they did specifically to copy and paste for block texture and color. So that seems interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of that stuff. One thing I did notice is that there's been a change to some of the emissive textures and that they seem to glow a little more. This was a feature with previous versions of the game, but yeah, for some reason they moved away from that. The glow was muted, but here it seems to have returned. You could see like some of the radiance glowing around that texture now. Now that's a thing again. So also, of course, it seems to have an impact on performance. But yeah, look at that. It looks so much better. That you can see that emitting onto the wall. It it did have that to a little effect with the previous version, but for the most part, it just really subtle, and now that seems to have restored. There also seems to be some changes with light and shadow, like these little insets here. It seems to have become a little more defined with shading. Uh, so with the emissive textures, one thing I noticed is it seems that the brighter the texture, the more pronounced it is, and perhaps the darker the emissive text, the glowy texture, if you will, the darker it is, the less it glows now, in comparison to the previous version. So yeah, like this before, this was giving off some radiance, but now it seems to be absolutely muted, and the brighters are even more bright now. It seems. There's also something weird going on here, like I don't know if this is somehow cutting off the emissive value of this texture. Like previously, this would glow through the this little hole here, but now that's not. And so you see, if we remove that block there, you see the radiance value is completely different. Where before it would shine through on that block. So that's something that's changed specifically with that block configuration. Very strange. Yeah. Okay, so the deco is become a hot topic now. Look at this. So it looks like it spawns in at a neutral value. What about this one? Does this work as well? I'm not sure about that. So I guess you would just aim at the... Yeah. Okay. That looks good. I like that. Does this work? Nah, it's just the block itself. But I guess for this, you'd color the... Yeah, so that's a separate block itself. That's great. That's real nice. That's very bright. Cool. Absolutely cool additions to the game. I appreciate that. I think that also works for the repair console. Yep. So not only just the deco stuff, but the repair console as well. Maybe there's some other things out there that'll work with. Um, so I'm just curious about this. Yeah, so I guess I have to change that. Really is dark. I wonder if it's just that particular texture that's giving issues. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, I love it, man. It's got so when they got rid of this, where the light textures would put off that pop, that glow. It really aggravated me. So it's good to see that it's back in the game. Of course, like I said, I've definitely felt the hit to the to my GPU. It's louder now, but good trade, I think. Yeah, it just looks good all around. Now we get how that glows up there. It's beautiful. Oh, this is yeah, this is glowing too. Oh, that's unexpected. So maybe there's some other deco and stuff that has things going on with it. It's not necessarily covered in the patch notes. Yeah, it looks real good. So colorable thrusters, the plumes. Okay, that's interesting. Hmm. Not bad, not bad. I wonder if this works for all of the thruster types, or is it just some specific ones? Doesn't really seem to change towards the intended color. Ooh, that looks pretty good. I like also how this little bit right here is changing color with it. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of good builds going to be coming out around that from the community. That's awesome. It definitely would change the character of the builds. Just that little feature there. Okay, so another thing they did is some sort of copy-paste deal going on with the blocks and the textures. So it's a control right mouse button. I guess that copies a texture. Oh, okay, I see it's putting... Oh, well, that's going to be helpful. Would that work for... Okay, let's see here. Will this work? I was thinking, is there some way that we could copy, like, situations where we have this line here? Would that go there, too? No. Okay, so that wouldn't work out. I was hoping that would be a thing, so that way we could have more value over curating these textures, but I guess that's not. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I was curious if that was going to work for the SVs, the thruster plumes and stuff. Ah, see, yeah. Oh, that's just fantastic. I'm loving it. Look how awesome that is. Man. Definitely a welcome addition. Thank you, Eleon, for that. It even seems to mute the color a little bit. So, yeah. So I guess you could define the values just by changing the color. Yeah, nice to have some control over that. It could really, players could define, or the builders could define, does the overall theme of the ship have like an ominous look with red thrusters, or is it more something in line with like some blues and whites and all that sort of thing? So good that it gives us a little more control over that. Didn't really notice too much else that's changed. Just the big deal here with the glow textures that wasn't noted in the patch notes. I noted that was a thing. Um, the many hours that I spend in here, and I'm sure many can relate that we spend in creative and stuff, will notice these things. The light and shadow, that I'm not sure about that. It helps to give a lot more definition. I can see that's going on there, where I would definitely wanted that before with the build. So it's good to see that. I think that's a positive change. Look at that. See, this seems to be a lot more defined in that particular texture. Did they mute that? It looks like they got rid of some of the, like the white welding seams, which I'm absolutely great for that. I'm grateful for that. Yeah, it looks like they kind of got rid of that a little bit. Oh, it's showing up on an LOD there though. Yeah, I can see that little bit there. Hmm. Wow, it's different. Okay. Or is it? I don't know. Is that like the changes to light and shadow or what? Yeah, this is all a hot mess though. I don't ever remember having these textures. I think they change that back? Because like with the last patch, when they did the changes, the texture layout changed where they were mapped to. So like we had to go through and redo the placement and stuff, recurate where the textures were for like these things and like these little lines here. Those that get of us that get aggravated by that, we had to go through and change that. I don't know. Did they change that again? It looks like they changed it again because I didn't have that stuff. So, oh boy. So yeah, no, this oh my goodness, yeah, this changed back. Uh, okay, so some good and some bad with the patch. Um, well, so before there was issues with some of these lines lining up, so maybe this has been resolved with this. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so that's all right. So that's they changed it back, I guess, and so that's a positive change. Yeah, this was a thing like with the last patches, how the mapping was with the textures, things like that wouldn't line up. So it's gonna be some work to get things back in order, but good to see that that's gone back. Wow, this just reset the build time on this. I gotta go through and retexture everything of it. Anyways, yeah, so just going over some of the changes. Um, some good, some bad. I like the change to the glowies. That's really gonna give a lot more control over character definition of the ship. You know, is it a dark themed ship, ominous with red glows and yellows and stuff like that, or is it something more? Oh man, yeah, this is getting me. I'm triggered. uh, so yeah, a change back on that. We'll have to go through and retexture those things, but overall good changes with the creativity side of the game, anyways. Yeah. All right. That's it, folks. I'll catch y'all later. Have a good one.